Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. We are back with another episode of the Challenge All Stars, the first episode of season 3. So we're gonna be coming to you weekly on Thursdays now with the challenge reviews. We're still sticking to our DC reviews on Sundays. So we're gonna start with the first episode where all of the contestants or competitors are coming in and we're getting reintroduced to everybody.
So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this season it was underwhelming. Like the intro usually is like a good party. We got Tina. I still don't even know why she got the call back, but
I thought they looked real, like it was more elevated to me. Like it was like real grown to me. And they was all came in black tie. Usually, you know, everybody's not as like formal when they come into the house.
But why? They didn't even have like a party or anything. It wasn't like a grand
It's like a cocktail hour type of deal happening.
I think it kind of takes away from the like what you were saying is kind of underwhelming because like 90% of the cast has already been on season 1 or 2. So it's like they've done either one of the first 2 seasons, went home for a few months, and then turned right back around and came back. So it wasn't like we missed them or anything. It's like the same people.
Yeah.
Pretty much try to give background on, they spent a lot of time talking about Tina the first episode specifically. I thought she was gonna get eliminated the first episode.
The Tina edit this season is making me very question a lot of things because it's like, what's really going on?
What was the point of her quitting last season if she was going to turn around and be 100% all in this time? Like, what changed?
And if this was the main season and TJ said that you know they would have got a call. TJ wouldn't have had called them back to his final or his challenge.
Because her whole thing was she didn't want to resort to turning back into who she once was.
But nothing changed between last season and this season.
Because it's the same. It was filmed in the same year. You like a couple months, bro. Like nothing changed. The same people.
Yeah, that's why I was like, make it make sense. Like
the only thing they did was they just gave you Veronica, so you have a friend. Like they gave you one friend.
Yeah, I didn't know Tina and Veronica were close like that, and so you said, well, you didn't know that either.
No, I did. When you go back and watch the original ones, the Gauntlets and Battle of the Sexes and all of that, yeah, they were to the hip.
Okay, I did not know that.
I think they're playing up. I think either Veronica gonna backstab. I feel like they're gonna go against each other, and it's gonna be like this big whole mess.
Like what was that? The first season, Anissa and what was the girl name who Anissa had to throw in? And she was like, start with a J. I can't remember. She was getting with Alton.
Hasela.
Yes, like that. Like they're friends, and then by the end of the season, they're gonna be separated. But let's get into the actual challenge.
They had to look into which was weird. So the way they set up this challenge is weird, but they had to look through a peephole to look at a puzzle and then memorize the puzzle, go back to their podium and try to solve it. The first one to solve it wins the daily. And the way they had it set up, because it was like, why are people like? You would think people would look at different peepholes, but it was like it made it seem like it was just one peephole.
I thought it was only one at first, but then Jordan was down low, and it was one lower, and nobody was even looking at that one. Everybody was like, right
there. He knew better.
Yeah, he was on the ground. I was like, get to that one. But I knew who was gonna win on that one, just because it was more. That was more for like the strategic players who could remember things. And so I knew it was going to be either Wes or Jordan, and it ended up being Wes. I wasn't surprised by that win.
Is annoying and terrible.
Yeah,
he's smart.
He come in the game and talk about, that's why I didn't want Wes on the All-Stars, because he talked about, I'm about to make like the main series. I'm about to shake it up. Everybody come by y'all right now. I mean, granted, you know, I'm always here for a little cat fight here and there, but Wes just comes in being messy.
But that's what I love Wes. What you mean? He brought like he's gonna bring the show. I'm really here for, even though he's not on my team, but I love Wes, and so he's gonna make it more interesting.
The funny part about it is like Wes has these same motives and same game plans every season, except this time there are no rookies. But it's the same plan. He's just going to use other people to do his dirty work like he always does. It's the same thing. I think this All-Star season is designed for him because he's smarter than everybody else and he knows it. The only person who really can outsmart him is Jordan. But if Jordan doesn't
like I said,
challenges, Jordan's gonna go in every time because Jordan wants to run the final with the best.
Jordan, West, and Yes are the three. Like this season, the way they set it up already are the three that's going to be like the top dogs.
Yeah.
And then we also learned that it's an individual season. It's so only one male, one female, no team, no yeah.
I'm so glad. I just once we go to the challenge and West wins, and then Sylvia came out with a win. None of us put Sylvia like at the top of our leaderboard as far as like challenges, and she did so well.
Yeah, I'm definitely sleep on Sylvia.
That thing. Like she doesn't have that like it factor that you think like she's really good in challenges. And I mean she's only done 2, and one she was by herself and she had her friends, but from her original season. But then the other season she had Joss, so she was carried the entire time essentially. So we don't really know what to expect out of her. In a sense, but I mean, I don't think she's like a weak player or anything like that. I think she's really good. She's smart. She knows what she's doing. She just hasn't shown it enough.
Yeah. I was like, okay, Sylvia, because I thought it was gonna be Kendall, Kellyanne, even Kayla, maybe. But yeah, Sylvia pulled out that win. One thing I do want to say about the challenge, I like that TJ said whoever comes in last place goes in. That is. It should always be the rule. I think if you are last, you should go in. I don't like house voting, none of that. I think it should be.
So West won for the men, Sylvia won for the women heat, and then Cynthia lost and Tyler lost for the men. So they are going straight into the arena, is what it's called this season. And then we also learned about the authority, which is basically the top 6 players will nominate the loser or nominate a person to go in against the loser.
Yeah.
The authority,
I kind of like the authority, but at the same time, it's going to be a little bit questionable.
The authority is basically the tribunal on steroids.
Yeah, why does it need 6 people?
At some point, that authority is going to go away because the closer they get to the final, they're not going to have 6 people sitting around. Well, at least I hope they don't, because I think that's going to be messy. People are going to be like, it's going to be obvious who's going in elimination, who's probably going home. So I think they'll shrink the authority down. But the authority is just nothing but the tribunal on steroids, and I hate the damn tribunal. I hate it. I think it's fine this season because if you get top 3, you automatically get it. So I think that's fair compared to how they used to do was the first person or the top male and one win, and then they just pick somebody else to join. I think that's better. Like you, at least if you in the top 3, you earned it.
Like alliances that are forming in the house. Like this is why you need Wes on a season. Wes be playing and don't nobody be paying attention. We just having lunch or whatever. He's already got this group of girls and they're trying to target Kendall and Kellyanne, but Wes is smart and he's like, they're by themselves. Let's just scoop them up and bring them onto our team and then we can pick off everybody else. Like, why would you even aim for them right this second,
Yeah, but with Wes, he always tries to play a numbers game, and I feel like every season, the numbers always backfire on him and blow up in his face.
Well, I only feel like that happens when he has people who are thinking like him in the game with him. That only happens when he has Johnny with him. And so Johnny he know what you're doing, so he know how to stop that. But
the numbers normally go against Wes because anybody who is a close friend of Johnny, like Jordan or Leroy or Zach or somebody in that group, they're gonna automatically know what Wes is up to. So they're not going to go for it. So that's why when Wes is on the main shows, you see people like CT and Devin and people in the Big Brother alliance automatically be like, yeah, no, we're not falling for it this time. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yes, I agree. But these people haven't been there in a while. They will. I think he'll be able to do it this season.
He will, because if there's no Johnny or Chris to stop him, he's gonna just run roughshod over everybody.
Yes, I agree with that.
Can we backtrack a little bit and talk about Nia and Jordan and like that edit they gave them? I was literally like, what's going on right here?
But you know what? I had heard that somewhere on, I don't know, the challenge internet somewhere, and I had heard that it might have been a thing. And I was watching this, I was like, but they didn't actually say it, so I guess it's not an official thing.
Yeah, they was like, we connected with each other on our own time, and I was just like, then they put a picture of him, her kissing him on the cheek, and I was like, when did this happen?
I put that down in my notes. I noticed because Nia, when I follow her on Instagram, I know that she's a flight attendant, so I know that she travels a lot, and I know that they never on the season on Portland, Real World Portland, they never really took the time to get to know each other.
Yeah, it was on site always.
All they did was just, but what's crazy is like they had something between them.
They had chemistry.
There was something there. There was some chemistry between them before they did all the fighting. Then the fighting happened. They had to be separated. Then they got on the show. It had to be more. They had to be separated more. And now it's like, okay, well, let's just take the time. We're adults. Let's just get to know each other now.
Yeah, they just wanted the little toxic, it was toxicity for them.
Challenge, like you said, the winners were Wes and Sylvia, and the losers of the challenge that are going straight into elimination turned out to be Cyrus and Cynthia, right?
Right.
And I was sad to see Cynthia lose straight up on the first episode because she was giving good confessionals.
She was giving good confessionals. She was giving good confessionals. I was like, what they presented her as like on like all the posters and stuff. I thought she would be like really serious, stern, like I don't know who to compare her to, but she was a confessional queen for a minute. And so I was excited. So watching that, I'm excited to see her for the season. But yeah, so we could go into it. Was Kellyanne, MJ, Sylvia, Veronica, Wes, and then they made up the authority. So there they decided to discuss what way they wanted to go about their nomination. Did they wanted to play the logical way, or did they want to shake some stuff up? And they ended up playing the logical way and voted in the second to last losers in the challenge.
Which I think is the best for Wes to suggest, because as far as he's concerned, he plans on being in the top, so you don't want them to be aiming for people that are that are challenge threats. And so pick off the people from the bottom, even though next episode we see what happened, but still pick off the people from the bottom. So I was okay with that thing. I don't know what Wes's thing is about though.
That's the problem with this show. Number one, everybody's friends with every damn body. Everybody in authority has 2 or 3 people they gotta protect. Like everybody's going around asking, oh, who can you save? Who can't you vote in? Who can't you vote in? And then it turns out it's like, okay, well, that's 90% of the house. So who's left? So at that point, it's like, okay, well, you know what? For Wes, I think he played it great. I hate that I have to say that, but I think he played it great because logically speaking, why go after a big target on the first elimination? First is Cyrus, and it's Ronnie and Cyrus. Like it's the first elimination. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
No. If you lose, if I send in somebody like Brad or Derek, or I send in somebody strong, even on the women's side, if I send somebody in strong, they come back. What does that do for me? Other than apparently at this point, give them, added motivation to want to send me home. Like it doesn't do anything right now. It's the first one.
Okay, so the Authority decides to throw in and Tyler and Tina. So Tyler and Tina are going up against Cynthia and Cyrus. And I thought it was pretty good, well matched. Tina and Cynthia, I mean, Tina, I don't know. I didn't think that was an unfair matchup. No matter what it was, unless it was like a pole wrestle, maybe. But
the game was very interesting because it was a throwback to Rivals 3, with that Nani and West did against Dario and Nicole, but they just added the weights and the sand being in the way. So it was a good throwback. So I think it was very evenly challenged. I don't think it was there was nothing. It was about as fair as an elimination you was probably ever gonna get.
They had to crawl through like a tunnel structure and collect sandbags. And then once they got all three of their weighted sandbags, they had to hook them up to the carabiner and drag all of them to their bell. Whoever rings the bell first wins. It's pretty straightforward. With the girls went first, which was Cynthia versus Tina. And I thought maybe Cynthia might pull off the win because they made it seem like she was doing really well, but production be lying. And so as soon as they said she was doing okay in the confessional, as soon as the confessional was like, she's doing so well, I was like, she's losing. I was like that. I was like, it's over for her. And so
I didn't like how they, because it made it seem like she was like going like real strong at first. It made it seem like Tina was burning out, and then all of a sudden she about to be like dead last. She still got a whole bag on the other side of the field. It's like, what's really going on?
Yeah, I was very confused. But yeah, Tina ended up pulling off the win. And I'm happy for Tina. I think, like they said, I think she feels it's like a kind of redemption for her because she quit last season. So hopefully this season has a better trajectory for her challenge game.
I doubt it.
Okay, so let's get to the men's elimination. With the men's elimination, we have Tyler versus Cyrus. And I don't know, because Cyrus he has lost weight. He is in shape. He says he's been working out. He's been trying to get to it. And Tyler is not in as good a shape as he used to be. He's not in as good a shape as Cyrus at this point. So I guess at this point it's just like maybe age will help Tyler out to balance.
Tyler was never in shape.
What? When he used to be in shape, he was in shape.
Tyler was never in shape.
The season he won with Johnny, he was not in shape.
He was barely in shape. Like, he's never really been in shape. He just been attached.
He's one of the people who look like they fit, but not really.
He looks like he can do
where's the gobble? He got popcorn muscles. Muscles.
Exactly. Like, he looks like he can do a lot of things, but no, because even on Cutthroat, when he went in the last men's elimination, he ended up getting Derek, and Derek was like, yeah, I could have beat anybody on the team except Tyler, because Tyler's like, he's a heavy bastard. Like, he's heavy.
I do remember.
Like, Tyler's just heavy. He's not like in shape. He's just heavy. So it's just, there's a lot to do with heaviness.
Okay. Well, like was that Nehemiah that pointed out this episode how it's showing how Cyrus been working out and Tyler was out of shape, because Cyrus was definitely going faster, collecting them bags, and then he ended up getting to his bell first and winning it. So Cyrus did good. And is Cyrus on my team? And Cyrus is on my team, so I was happy. I couldn't remember, but either way, I was gonna lose somebody because they both on my team. So in the episode 1, we have our winners, Cyrus and Tina, and TJ comes out and tells them that with winning, you all get stars on your chest.
Oh, he said that about Red Skull, and I was about to be over it.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was about to say, but he said they get stars on their t-shirts. And he doesn't explain what the stars are. I was thinking maybe it's Red Skulls or type of, I think it's gonna be a Red Skulls type of deal. He's gonna tell them in a couple episodes, you gotta come down to the elimination to earn your spot in my final, something like that. So that'll be annoying. But maybe it's some type of twist we haven't seen yet. So I liked episode 2 better than episode 1. Episode 1 was good, but I felt like it was super quick. I don't know if it was shorter just because they have two double feature or whatever. But okay, so in episode 2, we have everybody talking about how, maybe, are you sure? Oh, okay, sorry. We have everybody talking about how maybe, again, we have Wes talking about yes, everyone is talking about. I literally don't know what they talked about season 1 or 2 before Wes got there, because the show is basically about him now.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
I love it.
What you say?
I love it. It is, as much as Wes annoys me, I think is great because I see a lot of my characteristics in him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny seeing that, because the way that he's playing the game, the way that it's all unfolding,
Mm-hmm.
is going exactly the way he wants to. And I think it's great because we're finally able to see him on a show that doesn't have Johnny and that doesn't have CT. So he has the literal free reign to play however he wants with no repercussions.
Yeah.
His biggest adversary is Yes, and that's because Yes is not an idiot.
Was, I don't know what they called it, but it was like they had to be
out of reach.
Out of reach. Okay, so they had to be on swings, and they had to gain enough momentum to kick the box. Their box had a ball or a balloon in it, I don't know. And once they kicked the ball out of their box, they were dropped into the water, and they had to swim up onto shore and complete a puzzle. It seemed like a pretty simple puzzle. So they do it in 4 heats, 2 guy heats, 2 girl heats. And because the winners of the last challenge in the first episode get to throw a sabotage on whoever they want, Wes decides to throw a sabotage on Jordan. No real surprise there. I was hoping he wouldn't, just to like shake it up, throw it on somebody I didn't expect, but he throws it on Jordan, and Sylvia decides to throw it on Kellyanne. Right? Yes,
indeed.
Yeah, she decides to throw it on Kellyanne.
Well, Kellyanne, her throwing it on Kellyanne was kind of, I don't think it was smart to throw it on her, but it ended up helping her. So it kind of canceled each other out.
Yeah. So when he threw it on Jordan, I mean, I think it was smart if Jordan wasn't so great.
60 seconds.
Like, what is a minute for a puzzle? I guess when you see the way they edited it, but it was like he was doing the puzzles in like that.
Sabotage. But the time penalty for failing to get the key was 20
minutes. Worse. Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Like, losing is the biggest sabotage. Like,
yeah, you could have just not did the swing and just competed from that point forward. A sabotage really didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Was having as much of the difficulty as she was. I was like, girl.
But she's never been good at puzzles, though. Remember?
Yeah, but it was only like 6 pieces, though. It was literally.
But once again, useless. When a puzzle is a puzzle, it doesn't matter how many pieces there are. It doesn't matter what it encompasses. A puzzle is a puzzle. Whether that's riddle that's thrown into it. We've seen her struggle on puzzles before. From the ruins, we've seen her struggle on puzzles on the other All-Star seasons. She's just not a puzzle person. Had Tina not gotten disqualified, Kellyanne would have been the one going to the elimination. Now, whatever the fuck Tina was doing.
I think the problem was it was no way to save it because she started like this. And so by that time, they was already linked over.
I've been on a swing.
How?
I've been on a swing before. I've never ducked my head that far down. I don't even know how she even got in a position to even get in that position.
She
blamed it on being top heavy. Okay. Like, okay, bro.
I don't know why she grabbed
Why did she grab it? She grabbed the swing from the lowest point and then leaned over. She gave up all of her leverage that was going to keep her upright. So it didn't like scientifically, it didn't make any logical sense for her to do that. Like, it just, I don't know. She just didn't pay attention. Gravity won because she sure didn't.
Yes won.
Yes.
Oh, it was yes.
It
was yes.
And the authority was made up of Janae, Jordan, Kayla, and Brad.
Yeah, Brad. That's right.
And the authority goes to have their discussion of who who they're gonna pick. They choose not to do what the first authority did in episode 1. They're not going with just like the easiest votes, I don't think, because they would have went with the bottom people. But they each gave who they wanted to save, and Kayla made a point, not my point. I don't agree, because she said that, what did she say? She said that
He said West, Melinda, and
Melinda
Nehemiah.
and Nehemiah
He
on the
said
same
Wes, Melinda, and Nehemiah were all from the same season, which literally didn't make any sense because Yes and Veronica were on the same season.
Yes, it doesn't make sense. That point, she's like, yes, Melinda and Nehemiah are on the same season, so we should maybe look at them because they won't save us. It's so many people in here that won't save you. So I was
Nobody
like out of all the people, you're like at the bottom. I didn't like how I don't know, I didn't like their reasoning behind, like, there's like, let's all go around and pick the people that we don't want to say, which was half the house. And then y'all only had 2 people. And then y'all made it seem like y'all was about to throw West in, and then to Mark in.
I was like, yes, we've already established the rules. Don't try. He's like, okay, but I want to put Wes back in the conversation. I told you Wes is my person, so why would you even say his name? Like my person don't count. Brad done told you he want to save Wes, and he's like, never mind what you said, Brad. I also want to talk about Wes. Like, what? So I
don't know, because I feel like Yes and Jordan would have said Wes. I feel like the only person who would try to save him was Brad. I feel like they could have threw Wes in. It just made more sense for Wes to be in there versus Mark.
I'm glad they didn't, but I guess it did make more sense because when they did the little flashback or whatever, almost everybody, and it looked like everybody said for Mark. Which
I feel like Jordan is going to leverage that later on for Wes. Like, I saved you when I could have threw you in. Because, like, West shit the bed on that challenge. Like, there was no way he should. I don't know.
No, I mean, if it would have worked, it would have worked, but it didn't. It didn't. But yeah, so the people they decide on to go into the elimination are Mark and Melinda against Tina and who's the guy?
Tina and
Mark went against Latarian.
Latarian.
Yeah. I feel like the person that probably should have gone in probably should have been like Nehemiah. Because
I would have said Nehemiah.
Because I think Nehemiah would have caused the less wave because Brad came up with this idea like, oh, I can't vote for Mark, but then he's not gonna throw in somebody that's like Nehemiah. But then you have somebody like Yes who isn't gonna throw up somebody like Derek. And then Cyrus already went in, so you're gonna give him a pass. So it's just like, well, there aren't really too many guys left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you have some slim pickings. So I guess Mark just somehow just ended up at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, I think he just didn't have anybody to speak up for him in that group that they had.
No, he didn't. He definitely did not.
But I also think they also assumed he wouldn't. I think it was, I'm not speaking up for Mark type of deal because I assume Mark is safe, because I think that's what I assumed too. I was watching, I was like, obviously they're not going to pick Mark, and nobody really needs to speak up for him because who would even say his name? Before the authority made the decision, when they was at the club party the night before, it was super random and unreasonable for Tina to ask to tell Janae not to throw in Veronica or Belinda. Like, why would you even think you could ask me that? Or like tell me that? She didn't even ask her. She said, if you say their name, I'm taking it as a personal threat. Like, basically.
Yeah, that threat was terrible. When I watched the episode, I was taking my notes and I was like, you don't have a say so. Yeah, you are already in. So like, what can I do? Like, what are you gonna do to me?
But throughout the whole episode, the production or like the clip, the edit kept showing them mentioning Melinda's ankle. Her ankle's hurting. Please don't let nothing happen to my ankle. So I knew at the beginning of the episode that something was going to happen to her ankle. And so when they go into elimination, Melinda is limping down the stairs, having a hard time getting down. And we found out she cannot compete. And this will be the end of her All-Star 3 journey. So Tina, they tell Tina she could pick whoever she wants. And everybody's like, what? That's not fair. But it turns out it was just a joke. So Tina gets to stay and she doesn't have to do an elimination.
Again, this edit, although it's great for my points, but it's very good. That's why I said I don't understand what the whole. I don't get the whole Tina, the story they got going on. I feel like one, the house should have known Melinda Engel was, so for y'all voting her in was bogus as ever.
So I think they just picked Melinda because if she was probably going home, she's probably been talking about it, and just pick me, I'm going home anyways, type of deal. At the elimination, like you said, it is like a beam, and they are racing against resistance bands. Was that what it was?
It's basically a tug of war to push a button. I think that this elimination was completely and utterly unfair because Mark, albeit his age, was greatly at an advantage because of how much of a height advantage he had. He had a weight advantage. So Laterian was already at a disadvantage going into the elimination. And while the edits made it seem like it was competitive, after 30 minutes, it was like Mark just took off and was just at the button.
The way it made it like that was the worst thing he could have did because it gave Mark the chance to really he was pulling Mark away, but he also gave Mark the chance to actually get up and kind of power through it.
He gave up the leverage when he tried to go. He was inches away from losing and he was desperate. So I get it. Like when you're desperate, you're just gonna try anything. But it was a terrible idea because the only thing that you had going for you was the leverage, the little leverage that you did have, and you gave that up so that you could try to pull off some weird move. But
old move, good on him for trying, but it didn't work out. And so Mark pushes the button pretty easily once they tried to go in slow-mo, make it seem like it's so hard, and then he pressed that button. And so Mark pulls off the win. So Mark and Tina are staying, and now they both have stars.
It kind of, because we don't know what the power is, but if we know it's anything, knowing the show is going to be something important. She is indirectly the most important person in the show.
Yeah, and she's gonna use
until she goes home, and then they want her stars. So, if somebody goes in against her, takes all three of her stars, then they become the most powerful person. So
I feel like that's kind of where they're going with that. Like, if you want to become powerful or something like that, it's like you got to come down here and get those stars. It's going to either be like a point system or something where they have to come down and try to earn somebody else's stars. And the more stars you have or a certain amount, I don't know. But it's I can't wait till they explain it so we can figure out. But since we almost halfway to the final anyway,
basically.
You said what?
We halfway to the final anyway.
Yeah.
We like 3 episodes away.
Not 3 episodes away. Okay. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. We will be back next Thursday with the new watching new episode 3. So we'll see you on our next one. Peace.